What's going on, everyone? Badger here. Make sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. Not the fourth time I've recorded this video, just kidding. Game of Thrones prequel, The Hedge Knight, set for a late 2025 premiere. And I know, another Game of Thrones prequel. You made it very clear in the comment section. You're not all that excited about Aegon's conquest, regardless of how good House of the Dragon has been. Sort of hearing the same arguments about what I assume I will hear about this that we heard about House of the Dragon, is that, oh, and we definitely heard about Aegon's conquest. That was the big rub, is that there's not enough there. It's not interesting. Now, how a guy taking over an entire continent with dragons isn't interesting, I don't know. I didn't read those books, so fine. But the people said the same thing about the House of the Dragon. It's based on Fire and Blood, which is essentially three unreliable narrators telling a history, a verbal history, that then, of course, George came out and said House of the Dragon is the official way it happened. And that was very quality because, of course, the showrunners and writers were unrelated to the original Game of Thrones. They got the Aegon conquest, which, because they did it's funny how that works, because they did something good with House of the Dragon, because House of the Dragon 2 looks good. I am excited for Aegon's conquest because I'm hoping the same glow up can happen where this group of writers make something better than what George maybe thinly wrote out just to explain some back history. And now this, which obviously has much more than just a thin thing. This is like 3 books, you will see referenced here. The Hedge Knight, which is essentially the Duncan Egg story. So Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav announced the Hedge Knight Game of Thrones prequel for 2025, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, produced by George R.R. Martin and more. And we know George isn't going to finish the book. Gary does the countdown. It's been over 10,000 days since he's written or released any information or new stuff about the book, the next Game of Thrones book. So I think this is it. I think this is all we're going to get. We just got to let it go. Production for the Hedge Knight expected to take place in Belfast, Northern Ireland this June. And of course, this is all coming right on the heels of that original, like I said, Aegon's Conquest being announced, season 2 news for House of the Dragon. One thing we've taken away from this earnings call that Warner Brothers just had, David Zaslav just had, is that they are going to be focused heavily, and then we can see the graphics for it, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. They're going to be focused heavily on the franchises they have that have not yet been ruined entirely. And that means that Harry Potter series, which we're going to start hearing a lot about, which J.K. Rowling is going to be heavily involved in, which is going to piss off all the right people and make happy all the right people. And here, their Game of Thrones series. We're going to keep getting these. And as long as they're good, people will watch them because shockingly, the majority of things people are watching are all a decade old on streaming services. And I wonder why that. I don't wonder. You all know why it is. And so it is returned that type of dare I say, normal storytelling, traditional storytelling of like a beginning, middle, of an end, characters with actual character arcs. People want that. And Game of Thrones is not short of people with fucking character arcs, good and or bad. And then, yeah, this all just came from a production listing. But of course, Zaslav talking about a lot of different projects. This one of them, I'm excited for it. I'm excited. If you've watched House of the Dragon and you had only read Blood and Fire, you know that they expanded and maybe made better some of the things. And so I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do the same with this. This is just a description of what we will be getting from the Hedge Knight. A century before the events of Game of Thrones, 2 unlikely heroes wandered Westeros. A young, naive, but courageous knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his diminutive squire, Egg. Set in an age when the Targaryen line still holds on to the Iron Throne and the memory of the last dragon has not yet passed from living memory. Great destinies, powerful foes, and dangerous exploits all await these improbable and incomparable friends. Well, there you go. But there you go. A little bit of bro. Don't make them gay. Have a bromance for once. It's fine. We can do it. 2 dudes that are a little odd couple in a medieval fantasy land, just getting shit done. I hope that's what we see. If you've read the books that these are based on, the short stories these are based on, let me know in the comments. And let me know in general what you're thinking about these spinoffs. If you liked House of the Dragon, were you one of the people that you just don't see any reason why Aegon's Conquest would be good? And you certainly don't see any reason why this Hedge Knight would be good? Let me know. Make sure to like, share, sub. And before I go, if you're still watching this on the 23rd before 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, come back to the channel tonight at 9. We will be going live for the first time live streaming our 10th episode of Inside the Badger Den, which is, of course, a little Friday wrap-up podcast that we do with Mr. Tech Rat. We will be joined by Nerd Wars, Erwin from Nerd Wars. So if you're a fan of him, check it out. One time only. Then we're going to go back to pre-record, unless it's insane, but probably not. We're going to go back to recording them on a Friday and uploading them. But for tonight and tonight only, we will be live streaming on the channel. Make sure to join us. And
Well, bye.